Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect. Today's beverage is a very chilled ruby breakfast, which I believe is pink grapefruit juice, apple, pineapple, and orange. Either way, welcome back to Prison Architect. And previously, we planned off this, which is our death row only facility. Now, normally that isn't actually possible. You normally have to use some sort of mods and/or editing of the save file, or a combination of both. We went with the latter, and if we go over to reports here and to our intake, we can see that we do have death row unlocked. We have 50 available inmates, 2,500 generic units of currency payment for bringing them in, and obviously you then get payment for having them in the facility as well. So in this episode, we're going to crack on with some building. It's going to take a while to actually bring some inmates in, but that's okay. We do have a couple of areas that we just designated as something. We'll get to it later, and those include things like the very top left here, which is almost certainly going to be removed and have our green energy source. We've got the bottom here, which is going to be probably a staff-only area. That's for the officers on either side, and then in the middle we'll probably have some level of maybe staff room, and then we've got sort of two rooms here, which are obviously going to be split up into multiple ones. So things like probably security, kennel, armory are going to be in one of them. That was going to be over here, and that might still happen because I was thinking of expanding just straight over to the front and then putting green energy there, but we'll see what happens on that one. So yeah, maybe over there. We also need a kitchen and laundry, that sort of thing. Anyway, let's just see how we get on. Over to reports and to grants here, and I'm going to go with the probably administration centre, and then do I go with the basic detention centre for now? We probably could, although I am tempted to go with green machine. The problem with that is it means expanding or building it over here. I'm going to pick it up anyway, and we'll see how we get on. Over to walls and doors, if I can say it correctly. And then we'll build the fencing around the outside here, and that will obviously eventually become probably, hopefully, maybe not. Maybe we'll go for some sort of perimeter wall, but we'll see how we get on. So we'll do that there, and then over to our foundations, and then more. And this whole thing's going to be wall death row, so it's going to be quite a dark looking facility. So that's going to go in there. We'll have walls and doors. Then we're going to have a large jail door, pretty much around, as you can see, like that, and then all of this will be indoors anyway, so we'll have to see how we get on. So the workers are cracking on over there. While they're doing that, let's go over to planning and to walls, and I want to measure the walls in here. That's not going to work, because it's going to be a 4 by... Oh no, it will actually work exceptionally well. A little bit actually bigger on the bottom there. So this is going to be where we've got some staff areas. So that is just going to double check rooms and office, and we can see that the office requires a 4 by 4. That is a 4 by 4. It's in red because it also requires indoors. So you've got those on either side. We can go for the same on the other side if we do so desire, and I probably do. Something like this, and then we can have sort of a staff room in here, but also split it up so we have a staff room and then security. I don't mind the security being elsewhere, like over here rather than in here, simply because the security room, it's just going to have CCTV, door control systems, maybe a contraband scanner. You get the idea. Whereas the doggos probably want to be more around where the patrol is, which it's a small map, so it really doesn't actually matter. Yeah, it's probably going to be in and around here. This area, as I said, we might designate for the green energy. I don't know how much green energy we can actually put in here. I haven't actually worked it out. If we go over to electrical and solar panels, I could probably start placing it in that corner there, and we would probably get a good row of solar panels and... yeah, wind turbines and wind solar hybrids. Probably enough for this facility, although it really depends on the electric chair and how much that actually draws, but we'll see about that. The other option would be to expand to one area. The problem with that is that I don't have that unlocked yet, although bureaucracy isn't... well, it should be unlocked, we just don't have the warden yet. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. Anyway, like I say, I haven't totally ruled out expanding to the right if need be. Over to rooms and to reception, which is going to go in here. And I know this is not part of the requirements for this facility just yet, but I always like to place it in just for the sake of completeness. And I'm not going to put that there actually. I'm going to put table small, and then we're going to go with there's a recycle bin, which is fine, and then a bin, yeah, there's the standard bin, and there we go. So we've got auto light on. That is going to be placed there, and hopefully it'll be all right. We do have a total of how many workers? 8 workers. So we don't really need any more because we've still got enough to crack on with the building on this one. In fact, have they actually built all of this around the outside? I think they might have. Okay, that's pretty quick for them, so that's good. Let me just remove all of the planning there. Should have changed this to fence, and then it would have automatically been done. But there we are. Over to foundations and more, and then death row wall. And yes, I'm sure I'm going to forget about one of these at some point and change it just to standard. So we'll have a staff entrance there, a staff door there. That one will be put in later on. I'll have to do the internals as well. In terms of access to this, at the moment there is no access whatsoever. Now I could put one, say, in this fence here, so they have to walk all the way around, but it means if, say for example, there's a guard walking around here and they need to go, say, to the staff room, they're going to have to go all the way through the centre of the facility, all the way around and back. So I'm tempted, and it's not ideal, but I'm tempted to put in, at the top and bottom here, a way through into these areas, something like that. It just means that the staff have access to it. Now, it shouldn't be too much of a security issue because, as I mentioned previously, the inmates, the death row inmates, rarely actually have any sort of level of misbehaviour. They generally don't, actually sort of mind their situation almost. I don't know about that actually, but yeah, like I say, they're sort of content with just sort of being around and whatnot, and yeah, they don't tend to kick off, but we'll see how we get on. Let's go with some walls here, and I could probably be a little bit more efficient and put the gaps in for the doors, but it matters not. So let's just put these in, and this one here will be a jail door. Yes, because that's going to be where guards are going to be. Okay, so some of these lights are going to be removed, but as long as there's some lights in and around, we should be fine. I'll place that one there, that one there, and that one there. That should be alright, and then the rest will be good. In terms of, like I say, our green energy, I'm thinking over here. So if I won't actually remove the planning for now. So green machine, purchase and install a solar panel. So I won't do that. I will, however, put in 1, 2, 3. The reason for that is because then you need that to unlock the wind turbine. 1, 2, 3. Gonna struggle here. Yeah, there's those, and then we need wind solar hybrid, which is going to be more money than we actually have. So what I'll do is I'll make the offices first. So it's office, and we'll designate all these as offices. In fact, I won't. I'll designate that one and that one as office, and then obviously we'll get on to the building of this, which will be, I think, an office desk maybe there and there. There's no real reason to build them like this, it's just how we're doing it. And then we want in the chair office there and there, and then this should be interesting because it should be hire a warden, yes, and hire an accountant, yes. And because of that, we should have bureaucracy completely unlocked, which means then we can go for a bank loan, we can go for short-term investment, and then also probably the basic detention centre. That'll give us enough money to then go for wind solar hybrids 1, 2, 3, and then that'll be now built any second. We will have to have some transformers as well. I'll have to, yeah, there we go, that's in. And mystery ever double bonus monies, that's good. That's what we want to see. And that's going to go in there. And then the batteries are going to go around the outside. But I do want to obviously go for wiring and to a power export meter, which is going to go there. And then let's go to connections, and obviously we're going to start to export the power straight away, and there it is. So that's now connected, and then electrical cable is going to run in like so. I think I will put in the other wind turbine there. No point, no sense in wasting it. And then we're going to go with probably eco-friendly maybe, or do you want to go a long-term investment? Long-term investment is probably the way to go, actually. Get that sorted. Okay, so we do have some green energy, and I'm going to run the cables in now. So I'm going to run it like that, and straight along to there. This will run down... actually, no, let's not do it that way. Let's do it more sensible. Let's go across, and we'll follow the path in here. Cancel that bit. Yeah, follow the path in here, like so. That should be fine. That'll all connect up. That'll connect up to there. And then for this room, that should suffice. That'll be pretty much be all okay. Water, we'll go with a water pump. And this is where I'm going to struggle because I can't actually see where things are. So if I'm going to go to planning and objects, can I go 1, 2, 3? And will it fit in there? Will I be able to see that? If not, I know it's in the center of the screen right now. So let's go utilities and water, and we should be fine. There we go, there's water. And that electrical cable will run down to here. Oh, we can't go there. Interesting. It's going to go to there, though. And we do need batteries, obviously, so we'll do that. And there we go. So we're down to 16,000 generic units of currency, but we are getting the loan increase, which is good. So our credit rating is going up. The funds is going up, the short and long-term investment are in progress, and water's on the go. Okay, good. That light can go there. Cool. So, like I say, far from ideal at the moment. Let's go ahead and think about the basic detention centre. So, how we're going to do this? Well, we're going to have to do some planning, I think. So, in terms of the kitchen... what is the minimum size for the kitchen? The kitchen is a minimum size of nothing. Okay, I think then in all honesty, the kitchen can be that size. It doesn't need to be any bigger than that. You've got like say some cookers, some freezers, you know, some other stuff like that. Literally, we're having 18 plus change inmates, so that is perfectly acceptable. Perfectly acceptable. Let's just see how much we get for our exports. Have we got any for exports? Power exports is only 388, so not ideal, but to be fair, it's not a big area. So there's, like I say, the area for the kitchen. That is fine. I think laundry is going to be a similar thing. Let me just double check. I think that has a it doesn't have a minimum either. Okay, so again, we're probably going to go with a 3x3. After that, we sort of start to struggle a little bit for what these rooms could be. I do need a storage somewhere, although to be fair, putting the storage just outside is perfectly acceptable. I do want a kennel and I do want an armory, and truth be told, we could just do something like that, and there's a kennel and an armory. It means that down here there's not actually any great purpose to it, but yeah, we've got spare room anyway, so that's all fine. Right, so that should do for now. Let's just go over to building again, and we'll place in that, and that, and that. And that should generate that fine. However, that's taking us only to 5,000. Can I complete the basic detention centre with 5 grand? I probably can at a push. However, we only have to wait less than an in-game day to get the short-term investment completed. And we'll probably be waiting for the long-term investment as well, but I'm not entirely sure. So we'll see. Obviously, this wall we'll have to rip out and change up. So let's just go over to walls and doors and our wall death row. Like I say, it's all going to be wall death row, so it's going to be quite a dark facility. I do want to put some flooring in as well, but as people may be aware, that's normally the last thing we attempt, just because of money, just the way we do this. You know, we don't get inmates like right away. Not too sure whether the kennel's a bit too small. I actually think it is a bit too small. I think I'm probably going to make it a little bit bigger. And have kennels on, like, along here. And along here. In fact, the armory can be... Armory. What's the minimum size for that? Is there a minimum size? There isn't. We don't really need a big armory. I could probably even shrink that down again. Let me just double check. Over 2 walls and doors. I'm just going to cancel that. I'll let the workers crack on building the other stuff while we do this. So if I was to do that, excuse me, that would be an armory, and I could have a row of how many? 7 armed guards along there. I don't need a huge amount of armed guard, really. I mean, just pretty much 2 in every wing would be acceptable. So the kennel there, being like that, is that too big? I mean, your objects would be kennels across there, kennels across there. You'd have your doors in here. I'd have a door probably in the middle there. Is that in the middle? I think it is. Just double check. 7, so that is the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 dog handlers. We only need a couple patrolling and a couple around here. It's probably best to give ourselves a little bit more breathing room and do something like that. Okay, that should be acceptable. Let me run in the electrical cable like so, and I will put in the walls in like that and like that. And let's go for a kitchen. Designate all that's kitchen. And then a canteen, which can go in there. A holding cell, which can go in there. And a shower. This is all just to do the grant, like technically do the grant. And then we're gonna go with cooker, fridge, and then sinks either side. Canteen requires a bench. Do you want to go bench small? I will go bench small, maybe. Bench small, table small, serving table. Shower is going to be a shower head. The holding cell is going to be a bench small. Can I have bench small? Yes, I can have bench small. Bench small, table small, toilet. They need to be surrounded. So this behind here will be a solitary door. And then in here, I'm just going to put in a large jail door for now. And a yard. Like that. And then it is 2 guards, 2 cooks. And that should be legitimate. Oh, the yard's not secure, apparently. Why is the yard not secure? It needs to be behind something. Behind... Let's remove the yard for now. Can I put the yard in here? There you go, and there's the grand completion. Then we'll remove that. We'll remove the holding cell and the shower and the canteen. And then all of these bits get dismantled. And hopefully, at least some of it anyway, reused. The kitchen is pretty much sound. So that's alright. Oh, not dump. Dismantle. There we go. And I've actually... interesting. I've not got... let's go with eco-friendly. Because the earlier you pick that up, the better. Then you've got all manner of things. Basic criminally insane, no. Basic farming, production, bakery stuff, no. Oh, look at that. Power export cap increased to 1,000 units. Good. In fact, what I'll do with some of that money is reinvest it into green energy. Don't think I want a couple more. No, that should do for now. And staff wellbeing initiative. So build a staff room. So we do need a staff room. Oh, I just realised that we haven't got a infirmary. It's going to have to go probably down here. Okay. Yeah, we'll see about that one. Anyway, so this is going to be a staff room. So again, a lot of this is just going to be sort of like technically we've got it done. So you need in the staff room only a couple of things. Drinks machines. Just going to zoom right in. You can see all the stuff that it highlights. The reason it does that is if you've got on the... if you've got like the staff needs on, then it's, you know, you would need some like, let's say coffee machines and stuff. We don't need these. I'm just going to place them for, you know, the looks really. And I'm sure there's a coffee table. Table. There's like a round table, I'm sure. There, table oval. Table oval. Oval. There we go. Right, so that should be the staff room. And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no. Too many. I won't stack them. It's fine. Got 6. And then build a staff room. So that's going to be the staff room. However, this is a bit of a problem. So now we can't gain access to this because, well, we ain't got access. What I'll do then is I will demolish walls, and that's going to be demolished anyway, so we'll get that done. We'll prioritize that. That's now removed. Then all the deliveries are going to stream in and then go into here. Then there's another 10 grand. And there's grant completion for the staff room. Like I say, this is going to be a security room. Chief is required. Shall I finish off the... I think I should. I'm going to finish off the offices. So, office. So, all of these offices will get built like that. And then it's pretty much just following what we've done previously. And I definitely need to hire a janitor of some kind. I definitely think there'll be some amount of complaints from the staff members. And rightly so, if they had to work within this environment. I mean, it's bad enough that there's no heating or anything like that, but there you are. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then staff-wise, it's going to be a foreman. It's going to be a chief. It's going to be a psychologist. And eventually it will be a lawyer, but not for now. Like I say, everything is unlocked. Yeah. Let's see. We've got prison maintenance. 2 janitors and a gardener. So, gardener, 2 janitors, another grant completed. And how is our credit rating? Our credit rating is 10.0, so I'm going to take that loan to 0. Don't need that. Cell block A is increase our capacity to 15. Inmate health and well-being, that is medical ward, 2 doctors and a psychologist. Requires an office. We do have that. Okay. Eco-friendly's working, longies okay. Let's go with utilities actually then, and once again put in some more green energy just to you know, get that money rolling in. It's just one of the things we do. So yeah, we've got in no power over here. I'm gonna have to run the power like so and like so. As for water, that's another issue entirely. So let's work on the water side of it. So I'm going to run the water down to there and across, probably to there, and then run it like so to there, and then like that to here. So that's where the water's going to go. We'll also have water run through and underneath the underneath the what's going to be the execution room and indeed the electric chair. That can't be good. I mean, it just can't be, can it? So lots of grants here. I mean, a lot of this we won't even have. So I'm looking at the visitation rights. Build a visitation room, build visitor tables, build a common room. All of that we'll build, but we won't ever be keeping. There's no reason to keep it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Green Energy Goal 4 completed. Power export cap increased to 2,500 units. So that's all good. Security procedure certification. Get a chief, hire 10 guards, unlock patrol through bureaucracy, assign 3 guards to patrol routes. That's pretty easily done. So we'll pick that up. And let's go with deployment, patrols. I'm going to go with blue patrol, like this. So there's going to be probably... do we just want to go to the doorways there? We'll just go to the doorways, yeah. I'm just looking at the doorways on here. So that should be fine. And then assign a guard. We'll go 1, 2, 3. And then we need to hire 10 guards. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. And then there's another grant completed. Okay, when in doubt, spend your money out on green energy. If you want to make it sort of viable long term. There's going to be another one as well, which is going to be governmental security ratings, which is assign 2 dog handlers to a dog patrol and assign 2 armed guards to a patrol. We obviously haven't got either room. Security is going to go there, which is probably a bit too big, all told, but we should be all right. Okay, just remove that little bit there. Right, well, we have managed to get the very basics in for now. Got green energy. I'm just going to double check something. I want to go to... Yeah, I thought that might be the case. We've got these little nubs of the electrical cable sticking out. We can sell those. Not that we need to, you understand, but I just don't want there to be an accident and connect up to something like this and blow the entire grid up. Speaking of the grid, eco-friendly grant is 14 hours... well, 48 hours and, yeah, about 30 minutes remaining. And then the long-term investment is 26 hours. So, I think we're going to leave it there for now. That's been a bit of Prison Architect, our death row-only facility. We've actually got a lot more built than I thought in the short amount of time. Yeah. Excuse me. So, next episode. Which grants do we work on? Well, the obvious one is something like governmental security ratings and inmate health and well-being. Those are a couple of easy ones. Inmate health and well-being, we're going to have a medical facility here. Again, it's going to be really, really small. So it's going to be infirmary. It's a room. It just needs a bit of space. The problem is the beds are width of 2. So we're going to have to go with something like that. It's still 3, but we can still have the beds in like that. I think I'm probably, however, going to go with a bigger medical ward, just because we've got dormitories and it could be a problem. And to be fair, we've got the space. You know, we've got all of this space here remaining. There's loads of things in here that we haven't got. Like, we could have a mail room. We could do that. Let's have a quick look at mail room. Mail room is 5 by 5. It's a little bit large, isn't it? Let's see. 5. So we could do something like that. And have this mail room down here as a 5 by 5. But then there'd be a spare that doesn't really do anything. What else could we have? With no point in really a shop. A library. No, prisoners need to sort the books. No. No, I think it's just going to be maybe a spare room of some kind. I'll designate that as laundry. I'll sort that out. But yeah, that's what we've done so far. Not bad at all, I don't think. We do obviously need to put some flooring in. We are technically at negative cash flow, but that's not accounting for the extra green energy that we put in. And obviously we have provision for more of that when we finish the long-term investment and some of the other stuff as well. So yeah, and that's without obviously getting in inmates. As soon as we get in some amount of inmates, then it's gonna fly right up. But anyway, we're gonna call it there for now. That's been a bit of Prison Architect. Next episode, we will crack on with some building, and as always, see how we get on. As always, comments in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.